extrapolation from the first piece, Sign of the Times, which is my attempt at a postmodern, as Dave says in the fly of the book, philosophical inquiry into some of the limitations of the kind of assumptions that really have become prevalent within contemporary global society. And for me particularly, the one that I'm calling into question throughout the work, which is why I think it's a pastiche, is this idea that there's nothing original in the world, so everything is derivative, and yet things are what they are within themselves. And that to me is a paradox, because how can everything be derivative and nothing be referential? And if you live in this life that is defined perpetually in the present, without a sense of past, without expectations that how the present contributes to the future, you live in this very strange philosophic state that we have assumed to be valid. And we discredit language, and we discredit media, and, you know, Jean Ballard claims 20 years ago when the first Gulf War took place, Desert Storm, that because it was covered by Peter Arnett and CNN, the event didn't really happen. It was simply simulation. And to say that to 500,000 people who lost their lives within the course of that conflict, and they might, if they could, come up with a slightly different interpretation of that historic event. Just like perhaps those people who lost their lives in Nagasaki and Hiroshima don't think that the Japanese economic miracle of the 1970s might have been worth it, at least not to them. So anyway, with those thoughts in my head, I began my speculations about post-contemporary or postmodern interpretations of things. And so they finally came down to this. The experiment that was termed the modern age is said to have ended. Well, we're past it now. On to something else, something after, something new, something ripe for haiku. Postmodern life echoes off like your profile in parallel mirrors. It has become infinite, a seemingly eternal ever now, in itself and of itself, consubstantial. It is the surface of things that is all that has come to matter. What you see is what you get. The reflective is the real. Appearance is reality. This open space, you there. Now I see you seeing me and you see me seeing you. Hyper-reality. An enigma wrapped up somehow within the seeming paradox of a reality show. It's a sign of the times. Zero consciousness has replaced understanding. Protean in nature, irrationality eclipses the age of reason. In praise of folly, news is now watched as entertainment. Truth substituting for illusion, and no real distinction setting them apart. With Wheel of Fortune following a few brief commercial messages, I changed from carpet cleaning ads to reruns of a show about nothing, remotely in control, flickering a heap of broken images, a cornucopia of impressions perceiving nothing. The great wasteland goes click-clacking ever on before me, offering a myriad of choices and making it impossible to decide. Replacing anxiety with consumerist hysteria. Angst with continual distraction. Ennui with self-referential engagement. Still, there is truth within simulation. Those are real people whose lives are affected by what we see on TV while eating dinner from the microwave. There is a dark side which passes show beneath the surface gleam of things that merely seem. The good news of the end of history masks a hidden truth that Hegel and Marx each sought to ignore. Huxley also was mistaken. Time does not have a stop. Still, eyeless in Gaza, Hamas ascendant, appointments in Samara yet to be fulfilled, the prospect promised by the end of the Cold War, the great dialectic brought into resolution, up Shiite Creek. The wall may well have tumbled down, but reason did not achieve itself in time. Instead, the idols of the tribe, the cave, the marketplace became merely theater. And still, all in all, we question, we wonder. We ask if there isn't something more. With simulation replacing what once was real, the Holocaust Museum has become a destination. A Disneyland of horror. An end within itself. There is now a monument at Babi Yar, but no one goes there anymore. Still, I feel the deep pulse of absent generations within the open space around me, laughing their Lazarus laugh, their ever-silent Picasso Phoenix laugh, holding the dark secret of the ever-now, buried deep within the forgotten recollections of the past. And what is it that the thunder said? Only that a third world war now threatens far more than World War III. CNN has made it all so clear. The skyline lifting around us like a man-made mountain range of steel can come crashing down. Not even London's subways are safe from this blitz anymore. Time ever now is an endgame born of time past. The once marginalized of history have rebounded and begun striking back. The fatwa against fiction has become a jihad against acculturation. Globalization fought through the World Wide Web. A new meta-language for old ideas. New bottles for old wine. Secularism born of reformation is ever now under attack. Shock and awe to our cyber senses. A Siberian chill. You want world peace? You'll have to share a piece of the world. In the end is the beginning. Perplexed by discontinuity and indeterminacy, the center cannot hold. Time before will engender what comes after, as now and never shall be. It's a sign of the times. I don't know, how much time do I have? How much time would you like?
No, you have another piece or good?
I got another piece? Well, it just so happens that I do. And I'm staying in this sort of realm of social commentary, cultural criticism, yes, and the balance between the past and the future, somehow always seeming precariously to be set on that point that we call the present. And so in the book Thresholds, which looks like this, and takes place in Rome, 1999, Dave once had me read the whole book one day, New Year's Eve, 11 in the morning until like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was an interesting experience. And some people stayed and actually listened, which was delightful. But passages that allow themselves or lend themselves very nice to performance like this are sprinkled throughout the piece. And the one that I have found my most, I don't know if it's success or gratification, you'll have to determine, in doing, is one that is a recurring character in the book who is a street preacher who has a number of sort of assessments of the future and explanations about how he thinks things can be brought into resolution. For example, one is his notion that the way to bring about peace, prosperity, world happiness, all of those things is to start by privatizing religion, secularizing culture, and globalizing the rule of law. Seems like a simple pronouncement. And maybe a little difficult to achieve, but nonetheless, as the sea of faith is born again and once more run amok in a rapturous back alley evangelical end to history, part of Sign of the Times. I didn't work into those quotes, so I thought I'd bring them back for just a second. So his pronouncement about the past, the future, and the promise of a new millennium sort of runs like this. You will see. We will see too. How one man's bread is another's salt, and how it is to climb upon another man's stair. The time for us to embrace the earth as our only home has come. And the time for us to reach out our hands to all the peoples of the earth as our sisters and our brothers is now upon us. If we run from a world of chaos, if we flee from the constant mistakes of our past, the countless faces of the starving and the impoverished will surround and overwhelm us. Capsize the ship of world civilization just as surely as Rome was once destroyed by the hordes that massed beyond its walls. But today's barbarians can destroy an eternity of progress within an instant, with weapons of mass destruction as well as through the sheer force of their constantly growing numbers. Apocalypse? Apocalypse means only the drawing back of the veil. It means the revelation of that which had been obscured. We do not need John of Patmos to foretell what the millennium will bring. The dragon of the apocalypse may well have been released to deceive the nations of the earth. But it is the nations themselves which have acted, which have chosen not to act. It is the nations, it is NATO, it is we of this and every generation who stand looking forward while gazing back behind. It is we who must, we who shall choose what the millennium will bring, not on the basis of the desiderata of the fin deceit itself, but from our own mindless acquiescence to backward-looking dogma. It is this which we must acknowledge, and it is based upon this revelation that we will engage the future. Thank you very much.
Is that I haven't had a proper amount of applause for Jeff Helgeson. Please give it up for him. Oh, thank you.
It's called name dropping.